It's 1997 and an unemployed single mother who's struggling to make ends meet is about to release a book about a boy wizard called Harry Potter. She doesn't know it yet, but she's about to become the wealthiest writer of all time. She'd slogged 6 years to polish it. But today, I'm going to show you a little secret about where those characters may have been born. And a little ironically, it's a graveyard. Greyfriars Kirkyard is in the middle of Edinburgh. Rowling wrote her books in cafes not far from here. Taking breaks between sessions, she took inspiration from sights about her. She would have walked through Greyfriars Kirkyard, and as she did, she would have passed Thomas Riddle. He's the villain from her second book, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Except her villain spells his name differently. This man was a captain in the 14th Regiment who died in Trinidad in the West Indies. It must be happenstance. No way he became spectacularly more famous than he had ever imagined he might be more than 200 years after his death. Except just around the corner is another name Potter fans will know. Here lies William McGonagall. In the books, Professor Minerva McGonagall is a rather important character, the head of Harry's schoolhouse. In the films, that's Maggie Smith. The real-life McGonagall was a poet and playwright. He's actually pretty famous on his own merits. Unfortunately, it's because he's usually labelled the worst poet in the entire English language. He once wrote a poem about a cow that was on a hill, and then the cow left, and so the cow was no longer there. This is how it goes.
On yonder hill there stood a coo. It's no there new. It must have shifted.
Although it's attributed to him, and everyone knows it's by him and is from the same era as him, it's actually very probably a satire of his work, and the main reason for suspecting that is that it's generally regarded as being much better than the quality of the rest of his stuff. But this is Scotland, and McGonagall's not exactly an uncommon name, so it's probably nothing. A little further on, we'll find a third name, Elizabeth Moodie. In the fourth Harry Potter book, the important warrior wizard Aurora Alasta Mad-Eye Moody appears. So one name is nothing. 2, that's a coincidence. 3, maybe there's something here. But the list goes on. The sharp-eyed will find further names as they move around the tombstones. Robert Potter is over there. In another corner, you'll find the House of Black. Sirius Black is Harry Potter's godfather. Coincidence, cry some. Really? Say the die-hard fans. In the main part of the cemetery, you'll find the Scrymgeour family. One of them on the list's full name was Margaret Louisa Scrymgeour Wedderburn. Man, now that's a name. Also a little bit harder to write off this family being in the cemetery as a fluke, given that the books contain a Rufus Scrymgeour too. He's the Minister for Magic. It is an enormous gift to the world that any family had the name Scrymgeour Wedderburn, and frankly, if I were writing a book about the wizarding world, how could you not include that name in any novel you were doing? This one's a particularly tricky find. It's Hermione Granger's cat, Crookshanks. Now I want to be clear, not everyone is convinced that there's a link between JK Rowling and some, all, or indeed any of these gravestones in the kirkyard. Nonetheless, it is rather curious how well worn some of the paths are as you're walking around here, and there's plenty of tourists snapping photos and leaving little gifts of homage to their favourite characters. I can assure you there are plenty of Harry Potter fans out there who love this place with a passion, but equally there are fans who deride the link between Greyfriars Kirkyard and the books because, well, JK Rowling has never actually said, yes, I stood in front of Grave X and I used that name. But in a way that actually adds to the mystery and fun of being here. There's an element of discovery. Some Potter fans even disappear off and read every single gravestone, hoping that they're going to find something that somebody missed over the last 20 years. Even the name of the place, if you squint, Greyfriars, it's not a million miles away from Gryffindor. Now, in some interviews, JK Rowling has actively denied that there is a link between this graveyard and the books that she wrote. However, back in the early years when she was first starting out in 1999, she did do a couple of radio and press interviews in which there were hints. JK Rowling has admitted that as an author, subconsciously she sometimes pulls from things that are around her in her books. In an interview with the American radio host Christopher Lydon, for instance, when asked how she solved the problem and got her ideas for so many good, believable names, she stated that many of them she invented, but I also collect them from all kinds of places: maps, street names, people I meet, old books, old saints. In another interview in the same year, this time with Barnes & Noble, she said, "I've got names from saints, place names, war memorials, gravestones. I just collect them." Potter fans are so dedicated you can even find transcripts of these radio interviews online. But whichever way you look at it, Greyfriars Kirkyard is a magical piece of the past.